Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the day of the video, Darren. How's it going today? Today, I've just got up and had a shower and got dressed. I'm about to make my bacon sandwiches and all that kind of stuff. But I was checking my emails, and my lecturer that I've been contacting he hasn't ruled out this project yet. He said still keep thinking about it, and he's linked me to some articles and some things. It's weird though. I'm still not 100% sure because either A, I'll be extending a project that already exists, and then B, can you do that for can you do that for a dissertation? He seems to think you can. Or C, I'll be doing just straight up plagiarism as I essentially rewrite someone else's code. So I don't know. It's weird. It looks like today's been devoted to researching it though. I've been linked to a lovely looking document here that needs reading, so that's fun. It's not exactly how I was planning to spend my Sunday, but it's a project idea that I really like. It's the only one I've had that I've really got behind and I've really found interesting and want to be able to do. So I was trying to think last night if I could fork it into something different, into a way that kind of makes sense. But yeah, I think I might have to lean heavily. I don't know yet. According to his email, he says, let's have a look. Let's have a look at his email. He says, not necessarily, the project looks incomplete. It seems to be a reasonable open source project. There will be scope for building a project extending it, but it would require careful consideration, and extending someone else's code, while it is a lot of what's done in the real world, of course, requires somewhat different skills to writing it. But we can carry on discussing it. Now, A, I don't particularly like rewriting people's code. I don't particularly like the idea of doing my dissertation off of someone else's work. I want it to be all my own. I wanted to write it all from scratch. And B, I don't know, man. But yeah, so I'm going to spend my morning eating a bacon sandwich and reading this huge friggin' document, because he says that the project looks incomplete. In the list of mutations, looks less than I would have expected and different from the thingy set, and the set is in this huge document here. So we may not be completely out. It is a really good idea. I really like it as an idea, as a concept. And I really want to be able to do it. If you don't know what I'm talking about, look at yesterday's video. But yeah, so that's it really. I'm gonna have some breakfast, have a cup of tea. I've had a cup of tea all day, and then it looks like I'm spending my morning researching dissertation stuff. That's life. Oh man, I'm so used to not being a student anymore, where you get the weekend off and you can just do what you want. Oh dear. But anyway, watch out. Breakfast. So just have my bacon sandwiches are nice, but they don't take long to eat, do they? They're not very filling either. It's just like, yeah, this is really, really nice. Oh, where's it gone? Also, I've just started taking some notes down here about this document that I'm reading, and then I'm like, well, really, I should, instead of putting it on this piece of shit notepad that I'm just going to end up fitting, like there's nothing left to it, that I just seem to put a lot of different odd random things in. Instead of putting it in here, I ought to just set up my OneNote stuff. So at uni, I always set up a OneNote document for each year. This year, however, I'm going to have one for each topic, because I feel like that's a better way of doing it, I guess. Instead of having one huge document, I can have several different smaller ones, especially with things like my final year project. It's going to be bloody massive, so it needs its own document really. So I've gone through and I've created it. Literally, or like, you're talking 4.5 months before I even go back to university. I'm already taking notes. Oh dear. This is not how I was expecting to spend my Sunday. Here's what I've got so far. Oh, scrolling the wrong document. Here's what I've got so far. All of this fun stuff right here. Isn't that an absolute wailing? Wait a bit. We are about halfway through this. Where are we? We are on this page. We're here now. So we've done 1. Oh god. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pages. Oh god, this drags. It drags so hard. Oh Jesus. I mean, it's interesting, but it drags. What time is it? 12:30, man. We've got a nice dinner though tonight to look forward to. We've got our lamb orzo again from another thing. Like, what I try and do, at least I try, is I cook a load of batches. I mean, I've got, how many have I got now? Only 5? I've only got 5 batch meals in there. That's not a lot. I cook as many batches as I can of stuff, and then I try and space them all out. But the problem with the lamb orzo is that it's reliant on having cheese with it, and that means I try and put it higher up on the priority list, because then my feta cheese doesn't like go off or go funny or whatever, and I don't end up wasting it. Which means I'll probably end up finishing my lamb orzo by the time I get round to I'll probably finish that this week, whereas my others will probably last into next week. Anyway, is it time for a second cup of tea or what? I've gone through the introduction of how this thing works. This thing, to be clear, isn't something designed to test tests like I was originally proposing. My original thing was something that made changes to the code in order to test whether the unit tests failed or not. This is about going through and actively changing and optimizing existing software. The solution that already exists, that I found yesterday, has a very limited scope. It doesn't particularly change anything, it just kind of fiddles around with stuff, forcing it to break, so it will change like mathematical calculations and all that kind of stuff, just like really basic stuff, in an attempt to try and make sure that the code breaks. Whereas this is about going through and physically changing the code and the implementation in a way that optimizes it and makes it faster. And it allows 3 different things. You can either delete lines of code, replace them with something else, or you can insert something. But the problem is that all of those 3, you're really limited into what new code you can implement into it. You can only really use code that's already been written, that's elsewhere in the system. That's one of the restrictions on it. Where you can use brand new code, but they try and limit that down as much as possible. There are only set scenarios in which you can do that. It's very complicated, it's got to be said. This is one of them days where I want a bucket of tea, and not just a standard cup. I'm going to have a friggin' huge mug. Because just a simple small mug is not enough. But yeah, it is really interesting how it does it, and I've always liked the idea of self-writing / automated coding. Like, that's the kind of stuff I'm interested in. It's a lot more like deep down into the system, like hardcore data manipulation programming, as opposed to commercialized systems, which are a lot simpler, 9 times out of 10 at least. So it's something that I'm interested in. It's something I've been interested in a while, and it's interesting to see how systems are actively doing it. Like, this is a relatively brand new piece of research that's come out that I'm reading through at the moment, this research document. So it's intriguing to see how they've done it, and it's more complicated than I was going to go down, the route I was going to go. I was very much focusing on basically what the other system was doing, which was just changing simple things and seeing if tests break. I'm trying to figure out, I'm reading the entire thing. I'm on to a section now where determining the functional correctness for Bowie 2, which is the system they're using. Which I'm assuming is going to be, like, I've gone through the concept of how their system works and how their program does what it's supposed to do. Now I'm going to go through on how it's assessing whether it's functionally correct. I'm going to assume that this section is the section that's, like, most overlaps with my stuff. So I'm going to have a cup of tea, I'm going to go through this, and then I'm going to... Your batteries lasted a long time as well. It lasted all day yesterday, and so far today. That's pretty good. I wonder if 1080p uses more battery, because I was literally... It was dying every single day when I was doing 1080p. But yeah, so I'm going to go through this, have a cup of tea, and then I'm going to consider having some lunch. I'm going to go swimming later, so I don't want to stop swimming just because this is going on, although I am stopping everything else on my to-do list, like hoovering. Well, I might dust at night, after dinner or something, because I do need to clean a little bit. Was supposed to do video editing, a bit of blogging, potentially filming a video. It's all gone out of the can to do this. This is what's coming when I go back to university. Is this all the time? Like, unless, and a very big unless Laura wants to do videos and wants to use my main channel to do them. Unless she wants to do all the editing and all that kind of stuff. Like, you can almost consider the main channel to be dead. Next year, it's just going to be the daily vlogs, riding it out until I maybe come back after university and do some more videos then. But yeah, I don't want the main channel to die. But just reading this document alone, it's been nearly 3 hours I've spent reading this, and I haven't even done a video. I might do a video description for yesterday's video as well. I'll do that when I'm cooking, actually. What am I having for dinner? I haven't got much bread, have I? I've only got one slice of bread, so that highly limits my choice of dinner. I don't want to have pasta again, because I'm having pasta for dinner. I'm having pasta for dinner, so I need something for lunch. What can I have for lunch that doesn't include bread or pasta? I just do not know. I am actually quite heavily limited on what I have for lunch. Having thought about this, I might just have to have like fruit or something. Can't even make any sandwiches, because I need my bread. Damn. Yeah, looks like a half-packed lunch. Bloop. I need to invest in some lunch foods. Well, it's mainly down to bread though. I haven't got soup. Otherwise I'd have soup. I need to get some more lunch foods for when I'm gonna go shopping tomorrow. Otherwise as well, look at that. It's a lovely day outside. I'm in here reading a research paper, living the bloody dream. That's what I'm doing. I know a lot of you guys like you know what I mean. You watch these videos because you aspire to live the incredible life that I live. You aspire to yourself, and you sit and you think, God, I wish on my Sunday I could sit in all day and read a probably like 20,000 word fucking document about something that I didn't even intend to read about until I woke up in the morning and was linked to it. Oh, God damn. Yeah, I wish. I know. Alright, I live a privileged life. I know that. I live the dream. And yeah, to be honest with you, I'm sorry you can't live your life to the heights that I live mine. I'm actually going to try and preempt some comments there. And I realise that a lot of people are going through like revision and stuff for university, and they're reading all this kind of crap. But I'm doing this on my weekend. When tomorrow I have a full day at work. And I have a full day of work for the next 4 days. Granted, I'm off Friday and Monday next week. I guess if I didn't have a 4-day weekend next weekend, I wouldn't mind as much. But no, I have a relatively freer week this week, because last week was this week just gone has been quite a busy week, isn't it, because of snooker and stuff. Well, then again, saying that, I didn't go tennis, so I made up for that fact. But I know full well I'm not as productive as I want to be. I'm trying my hardest. I'm trying to work as hard as I can. And I need to dust. Look at all this dust. Oh dear. Just keep blowing it back there, and then let my fan... But the plan is, right, dust, blow it all onto the floor, let the fan suck it up from my computer, then just dust it from there. Clump it in the bin. It's a nice idea, right? Right, I need to get back to this. Stop procrastinating. Applying the genetic improvement approach to determining functional correctness. Oh, let me say this as well, right? Computer science is a really, really cool subject. Like, the thing I want to do is really, really cool. It's really, really interesting and really exciting. And the programming behind it is going to be really, to repeat myself, really cool and really exciting. But the theory behind all of that programming is the most boring, mundane shit you will ever read. Because part of you is reading it thinking, like, what do other people read? Like, Laura's law stuff is all about law, and she gets to read like case studies and things like that. And even though they can drag, they bloody do drag. I've read a couple of fucking legislations and stuff in my time, and they are bloody boring. But they're like real life laws. They're like real life stuff that happens, and you can go to case studies of actual court cases and things like that, which is actually relatively interesting. Oh, I can see my car from here. I can see it reflected in some windows. That's good. Keeping an eye on you, boy. But the thing is with computer science is it's all made up. It's all bullshit. Every last bit of it's made up. It's just words. It's just overcomplicated words for what it is. Like the theory behind programming is so complicated, but it's like on a deep down level, it's so simple. It's so simple. Programming is. It's like what I was saying at work. Like we're going through all this length to figure out what pattern it is that we're programming, when we could just program it. Why does it have to have a name? Why does it have to have anyway, rant over. Let's get back into it. I'm just putting this off, to be honest with you. Just putting it off until I feel hungry enough to go, nah, yeah, you're right, fuck it. We'll have lunch and come back. Right, where can I put all this next bit? So there's the process. We're now going to go applying it. How big is the applying section? Fucking huge. Brilliant. Applying is still the theory. It's not even actually improving it yet. Oh! Right, game on. Turns out this section's just flying by. It's all like the specifics of firing it into the system they're using, which isn't particularly worthwhile. I mean, like, there's some interesting things that they've done in like how they're asserting that the system that they're testing is actually functionally correct. But beyond that, there isn't an awful lot here that's that useful, so I'm kind of skim reading this. I'm doing well. I'm on page 10. 10 of 16. Happy days. That scroll bar is definitely about halfway. Oh god. When you do that, it's actually... Oh no, it's a long way. Okay, all done. All done. Read it all. Not sure where I stand though. I'm not sure what I was supposed to take away from that. It's quite weird. It's quite weird. Like, I've read it and I relatively understand what it's aiming to do and how it's doing it, but I don't understand how it links in with what I'm proposing. Let's reply to email. I was hoping that if I started to write this email, I'd know exactly like what to put in it. But I don't. Right, time to head on out then. We're just going to go swimming now. Yeah, I'm not sure what the plan is with my project. That lecturer I don't know, it's hard, I'm trying to read him. He seems to like the idea, and he seems to be trying to push me in a certain direction. I'm trying to figure out what that way is, and I just emailed him like, look, I don't know where you're trying to push me here. What are you trying to say to me? Speak to me. I think it's not impossible for me to do something similar to that project. Not impossible at all. I think yesterday I might have been I can't do it explicitly in the way that I wanted to do it when I first decided on that idea, but I can do a variation of it. So it wasn't an absolute cutout. It wasn't an absolute scrap that, do something else, which I thought it was yesterday when I got a bit depressed. And then, God, someone lives in that house. Damn it! I really like that little bungalow. That's well cool. But yeah, so until I don't know. I just don't know, man. I don't know what to do with my life. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go swimming, and I'm going to go and have just swim back and forth and have a think about my life and try and figure out what it is I need to do with it. Oh man, I'm expecting to. Also, I don't know why I walk this way instead of just going along the main road. I reckon this way's so much slower, but I walk it because it feels like, oh, I'm going at an angle. I'm cutting a corner out. But it's because you wiggle so much. I think it's like 20 times longer than actually just going where you needed to go in the first place. There's a guy on the opposite side of the road. Just walking past. There. I saw him around yesterday. He's really weird. It's kind of like, I don't know what it is. Was it in town or was it on Gloucester Road that I saw him? Or both. On Friday and today. And yesterday. And now. I don't know, it's a bit weird though. But yeah, swimming, like, part of me didn't want to get up and go, for example. And as I can imagine today being a difficult day, let's say. Like last week, I didn't really do a lot. I did 1,000 meters, but I want to do 2,000. I want to double it. I didn't do a lot because it was a bit too busy, and there were just people that were just a bit too slow, and you just couldn't really do what you wanted to do, which was quite annoying. But then also I haven't been to tennis, so I'm slacking on the old fitness stuff, and it's important to get back into it quick before you fall off the bike and never get back on it again, which is what's happened on my main with my main channel. So if I were to walk to that Sainsbury's local, I wouldn't go the way I just went, but walking to swimming, I do. Also, a lot of you might be thinking, partially I'm thinking it as well, to be honest with you, why is it that I'm wasting my time now doing all of this dissertation stuff when I don't start term for another 4 months? Crossing the road so I can talk to you better. Yeah, I mean, like, I don't start my first term for about 4 months. My dissertation deadline is like a year away, legitimately. It's literally about a year away, if a bit less. Why are you working on it now? Why is it a high priority? Well, it's to do with what course I'm doing. Like computer science, it's got the weirdest dissertation I've ever heard of, because you spend a hell of a lot of time developing a system. Like, you do a scientific experiment as a system, right? Or you do some research. You've got to keep happy the word science at the end of the degree. Like, it's easy to do a computing project, it's different to do a science computing project. So you've got to produce some software and do some iterations over some software and do some kind of scientific research with that software. For that software you get very little marks. I don't even think you actually get any. I think you might get 5% or something crazy like that. It's next to nothing, but it's a huge piece of coursework. It's a huge piece of programming to do, and it's worth jack, basically. It's worth absolute nothing. So because it's so big and you can start it early, it's advisable to do that, because then, like, you can devote time to actual courseworks that are actually worth something when they're actually coming up to deadlines and stuff. Like, you can't do a computing dissertation in the same amount of time that you can. You probably could, but it just takes a lot more time, because it's like a two-step process. You've got to devote a load of time and effort into writing a piece of software that gets 0 marks, and then you've got to write a dissertation with that as your basis. So I'm starting it as early as humanly possible and trying to get a head start on myself, trying to use my summer. And like the weekends, I've got 3 weekends relatively, and 3 evenings after work. When I go to university I won't have that, because I'll be writing notes up, doing other coursework and all that kind of crap, commuting. So I need to find time now in order to do it. That's why it's such a high priority to me, is because I can do it now. It's silly not doing it now. It's silly leaving it until I'm super busy with other things. So that's why it's such a high priority. I don't know where I am in respect to other people doing it. I'm not sure if other people have already started considering like what they're doing, or starting doing it, or like talking to lecturers and all that kind of stuff. I just don't know, but I am. I know Louis from work is also thinking about it as well. He wanted to start a long time ago, but his project was really hard and it's too hard, so he got told to scope it down so he doesn't have to start so early. But I don't think he's decided on a project yet. Saying that, I don't think I am. So I thought I was, but no. Okay, pulling up to it now. Here she is. We're going to be doing the same swimming sets that I've tried to do all the time. Hopefully it's not too busy that I can't do them. But yeah, that's the plan of attack. We're going to be doing 2 100 meters breaststroke and a 100 meters front crawl with a minute rest in between. May start dropping down the minute rest in between the breaststrokes, because I don't really need them, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how busy it is. We're going for 2,000 meters essentially, with a mixture of breaststroke and front crawl, because I need to get my front crawl back up to snuff. So that's the plan there. I don't know what. It all depends. You've got to be relatively dynamic. Depend on how busy it is. Sometimes you've got no choice but to be just like, oh god damn, I can't even get like a couple of lengths down at a relatively decent pace. It almost looks bloody empty. I hope it stays that way. Touch wood. Touch. Right, just left swimming. It was relatively productive. I think problem was it was I did 1,000. No, I was doing really well up until 1,100 meters, and then I got cramp, like really bad cramp. Like couldn't even make it to the end of the length. I had to just dive right and get out of the pool and stretch it. Went and had a drink, came back, and then I'm like, right, okay, let's finish off the 2,000 meters. I did 300 meters straight breaststroke. Stopped, had a rest, went again, and then I think at 350 I kicked off the wall, cramp came back like that. It was bloody horrible. So came back out, went to the into the toilet and whatnot, tried to just walk it off essentially. Stretched it for a minute or two, tried to walk it off, came back, and I'm like, right, okay, come on, let's get to 2,000. Let's do this. And I got back in, horrendous cramp again. I made it to 1.5 in total, but not half as structured as I normally would, or I did the other week. So yeah, there's that. Otherwise though, I feel like this vlog is probably going to extend rapidly a bit in a minute, because I need to do some rubber ducking. I need to do some thinking aloud, and you're one of the only things I can think of that will be able to think aloud with me, apart from potentially people at work who aren't here right now. So I'm home, oven's on. I rambled on to Dad on the way home. So obviously there's quite a bit of back and forth going on now about my dissertation and trying to figure out exactly what it is that I want to do about it. I'm trying to figure out what kind of topic I can do around the thing that I know what I want to do. I want to do the chaos monkey kind of thing that I was talking about yesterday. I'm having a back and forth between a lecturer to try and figure out exactly what I can do, considering that a system very similar to it already exists. And he says, this is what made it. On the way home I was talking to Dad about this. In brief, extending other people's code is fine. See Da's project from last year. Yes, the two aims are very different, and needs this and this for a whole genetic programming apparatus. Let's carry on talking. What do you want me to talk about? I've just asked you what you recommend the steps are following forward, and said that I don't really understand the thingy. He's clearly placing dots down for me. He's dotting a lot of different places and expecting me to draw them. I feel like he's pushing me towards a question or a topic that I can do, but I don't know what it is he wants from me. I mean, the project that he's linking me to there is just a project of extending some software. It isn't a project in any way, shape or form related to what I'm doing. So I don't know. There's three. I don't know, man. Do I have any Visual Studio code that with a load of unit tests in it? I don't think I do. That's the kicker. I want to have a bit of a play, a bit of an experiment with it, with the one that already exists. See how it can be extended, and see how I can make the extension of that something that is dissertation worthy. I don't have any code that I can use to test, to see what the other system did. I'm going to have to write a project with a load of unit tests in it. I'm going to... It's all Java, isn't it? I never did unit tests outside of work. We were supposed to, but we never did. We weren't really supposed to. You never got marked on it. But you just kind of carried on going without it. You never really needed it when you were only working on something for 2 weeks. But when you work on production code for several years, you need them. Is that whistling or someone's radio? Alright, we're going to have a look down. I'm spending my whole day on this, aren't I? At this rate, happy birthday, ladies and gentlemen. I need to get there though. I need to figure it out and see what the hell's going on, you know. Alright then, ladies and gentlemen, I'm calling it a night. It's 10:20. I'm gonna have a shower and stuff before I go to sleep. So yeah, it's been a long day today. It's been a long day that I was not expecting. Talking dissertation stuff. Big stuff. Exciting stuff. Relatively exciting. It's a bit nerve-wracking, but you know, you've gotta pick these things out, haven't you? But yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. It'll be fine. I'm thinking, trying to wrap my head around how I can do what I want to do. What this guy is trying to push me towards doing. I am going to go to work tomorrow and I'm going to talk to some people, some pimps in the crib. Hopefully Julian's around, because Julian will be a good guy to ask about this kind of thing. I'm trying to lean on people's expertise while I can. But yeah, Julian at work will be a good guy to speak to. He's our lead automated tester. And Stephen maybe as well. We shall see. I'll see if I can pull together some resources from work. Resources. But yeah, otherwise tomorrow is going to be a day of thinking, working, finalising deployment stuff actually. I think we've almost finished all the deployment stuff, which is happy days. And we are also shopping. Got to do my shopping list. Might do that now actually. Crazy. I'll catch you later.